Good morning, wonderful people. Good morning, good morning. Behind me is our kitchen. Can you believe we can give you this kind of a kitchen for under a million Kenya shillings? I get a lot of questions about how much it costs to do these kinds of things, how much it costs for us to build this kind of houses. And so I'm going to be giving you those answers bit by bit. And so this morning, let's talk about the kitchen. Welcome to Honorary Friends. This is Kisumu Karate. We are deep in the village. Many people are shocked about how much we are able to do very far away from the city. And as I said, if you live in diaspora, one of the most important things you can do for yourself is to build something that allows you the same degree of comfort we have in diaspora. You don't have to have a big house. All I say is that regardless of the size, it needs to be really well done when it comes to finishes. So this house was built 5 years ago. That's when the kitchen was done. Currently, the kinds of kitchens we do are far better than what you see here. So as I always tell my clients, this is an example of what is possible, but it is not an example of our best work. I'll show you my brother's kitchen, which is again, out in my view, at least 5 times better than this one, for about a similar cost. So I'm going to walk you and show you what this little kitchen looks like, some of the things to pay attention to. And if you're curious, I'm happy to connect you with fundis who are doing our current kitchens right now. But yes, you can get this kind of a kitchen for under $1 million. No, not $1 million, a million Kenya shillings. So anyway, folks, what you'll notice is that if you watch my videos too, this is a completely open plan kitchen. So the entrance is right over there. As you walk in, you get into this lounge over here. And then straight on, you get to the kitchen. And in terms of design, let me walk you through the first part over here. I'm going to try to figure out how to put it. So I have a few things that were not planned. Like that small fridge was not planned for that space. The same thing with this other, if you look down here, there's some kind of a stove right here. So these two kitchen appliances came from my sister's house, my late sister's house. And so we just kept them there. There are things that often remind me of my late sister, but they're not meant to be there. So on this far end, what you have is just an open space with the dining area right here. And by the way, all of our furniture were bought in Kenya. I have never imported furniture at all. They're not like the best, but they work for now. So this ones we just bought locally. If you need a plug, let me know. So you have this open space where you have the dining area. And we've got relatively large doors over here. So when we have guests, we open up all these doors. So some people can sit on the outside, some people can sit on the inside. And it actually almost increases the size of the house in terms of capacity. So then from there on, we have sockets all along the wall. We have a water dispenser up there. This is another old one, which I'm planning to replace. There are more modern ones that are very quiet and look very nice. So then you have the dispenser over there. We have a window, and now that looking back, I could have done like a floor to ceiling window, but it's okay, it works for now. And then after the windows, then this side, this is when the cabinet starts. And by the way, our cabinets are not that many. If you look behind me, it's only just this section back here, the cabinets down, and then all the way this side. And what's actually interesting is that I would say maybe 60% of these cabinets are actually empty. So sometimes people think you need lots of cabinetry spaces, but oftentimes that's not the case, because especially if you don't live here full time, you will rarely use all of these cabinets. So our cabinet space isn't a whole lot, and even then they are barely full. So then we have the boards that we cut. What we typically do right now with all cabinet woodwork is we send our technicians to your site. They take measurements, and then we send it to our factory, some factories in Nairobi, and they cut everything, including laping and all that stuff. So they bring it down, and the fundi's job is simply to put it together. You end up with a much cleaner job. Now, when we were doing this kitchen, some of this woodwork was done on site, where we bought the wood and then we cut them. It doesn't come out as clean as I'd like it. So currently, for all of our kitchens and wardrobes, we take measurements and everything is cut at the factory. So when fundis come, they simply stitch it together. So we have the boards both up and down. And like I say, most of these are actually barely filled up. Let me show you. Like in this case, you still have these. I don't even know what's in some of these things. Like most of this is actually empty. Yeah, there's a couple of cups here and there. And then what we have in terms of appliances, so what we did, I bought a package that had 4 appliances that had this range over here. And then it's one of those, you'd think actually there's an outlet out there. This one does not have an outlet. But when you turn it on, it just sucks up all that smoke and the smell, the nice smells. And then down we have the stove. So this range and the stove and the other two, these 2 ovens came together. So they all came for as a package, which was much cheaper than buying them separately. Now, what are the other options that we give clients right now, especially those who live either in the US or some of these other countries? There are clients who actually buy appliances. You can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, and buy your appliances, and then we install. So, but if you do that, I say make sure your electrician does 2 systems, a 240 volt and a 110 system, so that whichever appliance you bring, you can simply come and plug it in. So that works just fine. So you can either buy local appliances or import appliances. Either way, just tell me ahead of time so we make sure the electrical works, matches what you're going to bring in. Now, again, these are appliances that I bought 5 years ago. The same company that I used currently does much better appliances. I mean, this was okay, but there are much better appliances currently right now for even cheaper price. So again, what we did, if you come with me down here, I don't know if you can see, this is a spice rack. You can either do a spice rack that is already built at the factory, or you can do these ones that are built right here on site. And I don't know, let me see if I can show you. Yeah, so this is basically what our spice rack looks like. And then the rest is just basically cabinets, just cabinets all over. And then you notice that along the walls here, we did black galaxy granite top. And like I said, I always say in my channel, if you go dark with the countertop, you want to go white back here. The contrast looks usually really good. And again, for those of you who know what I'm showing you right now, at the back, for the backsplash, we have what they call subway tiles. Again, this was 5 years ago. I loved it. Now, today, I don't like the subway tiles, in part because I think they've been overdone. But for folks who still like these subway tiles, we are more than happy to give that. But personally, if I was to redo this again, and I will redo this kitchen, I would do slightly different backsplash. In fact, many of my clients nowadays ask for just big tiles, and they pop very nicely if well done. So yes, what we have is subway tiles. Then we have our stove here. And by the way, this stove is just a flat top stove, as you can see. So down here, if you check, there's really nothing underneath over here. Then the other thing that we have done that some people don't do is we have created a nook here because we use gas to cook. So you'll see down here we have the gas cylinder. All we did is just create a hole back there and then plug the pipe into the stove. Now, I've seen some people put this thing outside. Yes, the explanation is that it is safer to have the gas cylinder outside the house, and then you build some kind of contraption with metal and all that. Honestly speaking, having done this for a few years, I don't think it's necessary. They actually left a hole on my wall for that, because thinking that I was going to do that. Excuse me. But personally, I don't know. This works fine, and it's actually hidden here, so you don't get to see it, and I'm not really worried about any safety issues. But some people worry about that. Then, of course, we have our sockets here. What we've done is that some of these sockets actually control the water pumps. So I have to remind my folks never to turn these things off, because this is how we pump water to our tanks upstairs. And then with the outlets, you want to make sure that they are universal. I don't know if you can see. Let me try and zoom close. These are universal sockets with USB charging ports. So in fact, the newer ones actually have Type-C charging ports. So you can pretty much plug in anything here from the US, those things that if you have a 110 system, you can pretty much plug anything in there. And then of course, we just have an open countertop with some, I would say, a knife set and all this other stuff. So nothing really fancy. Then we have a relatively small pantry right here. Now, one mistake I see in many kitchens that I check out is that people do very large pantries. And then you realize that I don't know if you necessarily need that space. But if that is something that is important to you, just communicate earlier that you need a big pantry. But oftentimes, people do very large pantries that often take up space within the kitchen that end up not being necessary. So, very simple pantry tucked in the corner here, just simple cabinetry, and I guess it works. But if you need something much more sophisticated, that can be done. And then, as I always say, always think about the golden triangle. And you're thinking about where the refrigerator is, where you have your stove, and where you have your sink. Our sink is planted here on the island. And this island is slightly larger than what you will typically find. And that was really on purpose. We needed a big island. So the distance between your refrigerator, your stove, and the sink should not be such that you are running around trying to look for food, wash it over there, and cook someplace else. Think about the golden triangle as they are designed in your house. So then we have the space for the refrigerator here. This is meant to have a double door refrigerator. But of course, when we were moving here 5 years ago, we got to the point where you're basically flying on fumes. You've already spent so much that you're just looking for the next functional thing. So while we have this simple up and down, I don't know what you call this kind of refrigerator, but the space is big enough for a double door refrigerator. Then you see, like I told you, many of these cabinets are just completely empty. But here we could do racks here made of metal. There's a whole lot we could do in here. So most of this, like I say, is largely empty. There's stuff in here. That's actually a blender that I bought from Walmart. And of course, I've not used it because since when we built this house, we didn't do like the 240 and 110 electrical systems. I cannot just plug in an American plant. I have to bring in a transformer. Then the last piece of the kitchen, obviously, is the island over here, which is to me one of the best part of this house. And this island had to be brought down at least 2 or 3 times because they messed up the height, they messed up the position. And so we had to move things around because initially the distance between the island here and the stove was so close that when you have 2 African women working here or African brothers who are fluffy, it was just not going to work out. So we had to move it so that there's enough clearance for people to either walk or cook and wash stuff here. But to me, this is the most enjoyable part of the kitchen. Large island, and this is still Galaxy granite countertop. And so what we did was white Galaxy over here, and then we did black Galaxy all around the walls. Or some people go for marble. There's many options. But yes, a kitchen as simple as this. And by the way, so what we did is that this kitchen, this island is where we will insert our dishwasher over there. So I've not bought it yet, but that's one thing that we'll insert over. For the most part, I don't know necessarily that I need a dishwasher in the village because even in the US, I have a dishwasher. I have never used it. So my thinking is that for the dishwasher, it will simply just help with storing dishes here. So anyway, folks, if you need a kitchen like this, like I told you, we can deliver this for under $1 million shillings. But currently, we do what is way better than what you're looking at right now. So again, if you need any help with that, my number is down there. Reach out and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.